signs. Welcome to your timeless Work-Career-Vocation read. I am your reader, Mark Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions since 1998, 24 years in service at the time of this timeless recording, author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, available on Kindle. There's a link in the description box if you would like to preview the first bunch of it for free. And you can read the dedication to my mom, who I am visiting right now. I am doing this from her screenhouse, her greenhouse, whatever you want to call it, up in Saratoga. Just looked at a house that we might be buying, we'll see. So I can move up here in the next couple of months, but more important than that, because all of that is so in the future, who knows, I'm a creator on Patreon. Patreon.com/Drawing the Circle. Streamed there this morning, cup of coffee from the guest room, talking about the day's astrological weather, the magical applications, the spiritual implications. I think my parents are back from food shopping. Loving it over there. Lovely subscription service for the creative types out there to get some of the support that you need to do what you incarnated to do in this world. Right now I've got subscriber tiers called humans, heroes, angels, witches, immortals, gods, goddesses. We'll soon be adding mystics as soon as I catch a little time to set all that up. So if you want the deeper experience, more magic, more miracles, more mysticism, more Mal, come Patreon on Patreon. Oh, there's a little baby chipmunk over there, because I'm the Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons. Just call me Mal. Hi. Yeah. Trying something a little bit different. Best part of being self-employed and a creative type is sometimes you get a change of scene. So I'm out of the dining room in Holbrook and I am in the backyard in Saratoga, and very happy to be here. So let's get down to biz. Capricorn collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs. I'm sitting in a rocking chair, by the way, so if you see a little bit more motion in the ocean than usually, that's why. If you are new to the channel, the Work-Career-Vocation read is really what's called a 3 levels of power reading. There's a link in the description box for a video on YouTube by Myss, M-Y-S-S. She's a PhD. These are her archetype cards. The 3 levels of power, a way of looking at different levels of your life through 3 archetypal lenses. Work, career, vocation is what we're going to be looking at, but the 3 levels of power are actually called literal, personal, and symbolic. There are chakras involved, intuition involved. We'll talk about it as we go. But this is to help you line up these 3 levels of power in terms of your life purpose, like what you incarnated to do, your soul contracts, which is why we're going to look at archetype cards. We've got 4 other decks to incorporate with these to make 13 cards in the spread total, and I've been doing these with clients for decades, so I find them helpful for myself, so I hope you too find it helpful as well. That being said, it is a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Check your other signs, because usually one of the 3 levels has what I call a leverage point, or that's where your leverage is. Where if you tinker with that one, balance that one, the other 2 tend to fall in line. But one can be, one sign can be about your career, another your vocation, another your work, etc. So that you can fulfill what you came in to do in this lifetime, little by little by little by little. Nobody's supposed to do it all at once, right? It's all a journey. So both feet on the floor if you can. I mean, I can. I'm just enjoying the lotus position in this rocking chair big time. Both feet on the floor if you can. And focus on your breath if you will. And I will do the best that I can to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace to help you fulfill what you came here to do. And as you do that, you inspire other people to fulfill their life contracts, their sacred contracts. A wonderful book by Myss. M-Y-S-S, she's a PhD. Other than that, let's get up in this gig, shall we? Yeah. Labradoodles may be released into the backyard, but they can't get where I am now, so it's all good. So, let's do this. Please take a nice deep breath. There we go. Oh, this feels lovely. It's still point. Yeah, as I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine, the angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of work, career, vocation, and the higher selves of all involved, fifth dimension above, eighth chakra and above, as well as Lord Ganesh, Lord Ganesha, the elephant-headed Hindu god of success and prosperity and remover of obstacles. Please, I need 3 Caroline Myss archetype decks, one for the 8th chakra dynamics, hovering over the head of the Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, watching this video, receiving this reading, first for their work, then their career, then their vocation, but we're going to read them in reverse order. So, what's the dominant archetype for their work? Their first level of power, the physical world, how they survive, their survival intuition, lower 3 chakra, masculine energy dominant. We'll put that face down, all right? So that's your work. For their career, second level of power, personal level of power, heart, throat, third eye, crown dominant, their career, their hunger, their passion, their thirst, their creative intuition, their feminine yin energy dynamic. What's the dominant 8th chakra archetype going on there? And for their vocation, third level of power, symbolic level of power, their calling, their spiritual calling, their visionary intuition, 8th chakra dominant, the star that calls them forward, right? Their life purpose kind of thing on a spiritual, mystical power level for this timeless work, career, vocation read. Now, like I said, we laid them out 1, 2, 3, but we're going to read them 3, 2, 1 because I find they're more accurate to go from the 8th chakra down, though you want to build it root chakra up. So, in your vocation, you've got the hero archetype, the hero's journey. Yay! Now you can have an archetype, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. This is an action family archetype of the 9 different families of archetypes, and I have this one, lifetime. The shadow attribute is what you're trying to work on, what you're healing, the stuff you don't want to look at, the stuff maybe you know about and you're working on it but you don't want anybody else to know about it. The light attribute is what you are shooting for. So I use the language of symbolic alchemy, lead to gold, right? So 3 more atoms in lead than gold, you burn off, transform, whatever, heal those 3, you gradually move from one to another, and the Lord Ganesh, the remover of obstacles, might be helpful there in removing those 3 atoms. So the shadow attribute, escapism and a false sense of heroism, which is essentially a villain, okay? And that's really the deal. The light and the shadow, right, are opposites. So the opposite of a hero is a villain, and all villains think they're heroes until they snap out of it. The light attribute, I gave you some sheer moonstruck realness, didn't I? The light attribute you're shooting for is passion for a journey of personal empowerment. So that's lovely. This is Heracles, this is Jason and the Argonauts, this is Kal-El of Krypton. You sort of get the idea. And in terms of a vocation, that really is tuning to your own personal journey. Now, I know people think heroes are rescuers, but rescuers may be heroes, but different archetypal family, different vibe. Hercules, as we have seen him depicted, at least in the more modern times, is always seen as such a good guy, but he was a fucking nightmare, guys. Read the myths. He started off as a divine being, right? A god, but got demoted because he broke some really, really big rules that not even the gods are supposed to matricide, right? Although it was his wife and his kids he ended up killing. It's a long story, right? So he had to do his 12 labors, a journey of personal empowerment, if you ever want to see one, right? In order to regain his divinity, his godhood. That's all of us to a certain extent, but maybe without the killing of the babies. Wow, okay. In your career, your 8th chakra archetype is the prince. Now, I have the prince also lifelong. It is, however, a masculine family archetype. There is both masculine and feminine archetypal families. The shadow attribute is using power for self-aggrandizement, which I did a lot as an adolescent, right? I'm tall, I have a very, very strong presence, and actually in my family, if my parents are the king and queen, I am the third prince. I'm the third son. There's a sister in there too. So the only princess in the family, if you want to use that archetypal language. The light attribute that you're shooting for here is romantic charm and potential for power, which in a career, I mean, you can absolutely be a romantic figure in your own career, but it usually takes it outside of the idea of romantic relationships, right? And a potential for power. There's so many images that come to mind. I mean, Adam Ant, Prince Charming, just one example. Prince, like when he first started, all that potential for power, very romantic energy, right? So many different ways that you can look at that in terms of a career. I like that. And in your work, you've got the visionary, wow, creative family archetype. A tricky one though. The shadow attribute, selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable, which I can't do. I tried. I can't dumb it down. I can't water it down. I can't do keyword readings. I've been reading tarot since I'm 12 years old. Oh my God, on Tuesday at the time of this recording, September 6th, I'm going to be 54 years old, just like the studio Thorpe. Yeah, I don't know, look at things, right? So I just can't do that, but the light attribute, capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. Oh my goodness, can I relate to that? Willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain, which is why I demonetize myself from YouTube and I'm over on Patreon, so I get paid for what I do. But people who appreciate my work and understand that a general read is a general read, it's just not your read. Why in the world would you thumbs down a read? That makes no sense. Anyway, on YouTube at least. So I like this. The hero, prince, visionary is what you would be in this reading. So those are your 8th chakras. The 8th chakra, it's good to know, because that's what the soul wants to develop in this particular archetypal schemata. So all the other chakras fall in line under that. Like the 8th chakra is the satellite beaming down the code, right? The signal transmits and changes the electromagnetic dynamics of all the chakras in terms of what you attract and what you repel. So it makes reality creation a little bit different. It's not quite that, I can envision it, I can have it. Well, yeah, maybe you can, but is it part of your hero's journey of self-empowerment? Is it something that serves your life and the well-being of all? Let's see. Well, we're going to use Daughters of the Moon Tarot for the next 4 chakras down: crown, third eye, throat, heart. Now, by the way, like I said when I was laying these out, the 8th chakra is very vocation, that level of power, 3rd level of power. This is the 2nd level of power, heart, throat, third eye, crown, which is what's going on behind the scenes, the more feminine internal yin dynamic. Please take a nice deep breath. Oh, I love doing it out here. Still point. Oh, this must be why. As I call upon my goddesses of earth, sign of Capricorn, powers of the north, please, 3 cards in clarity. Work, career, vocation for the Capricorn collective, sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs watching this video and receiving this reading. We'll lay these face down, but we'll start with the visionary and their work. What's going on behind their eyes, heart, third eye, crown, that they need to be aware of to help them alchemize from lead to gold in their work. In their career, they got the prince, which can be very, very, very sneaky and very, very tricky, unless it's from personal experience, right? Unless they really embrace and start manifesting that potential for power. So what's going on? Heart, throat, third eye, crown there. And for the hero, heroine, which does speak of a spiritual hero, does speak of a true life calling hero, heroine, path of empowerment, personal empowerment that does trickle down to help everybody else eventually in their vocation. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to start with vocation. So you've got the hero in the 8th, and the 3 of flames, the 3 of wands on the inner, very much throat chakra. You might be chewing on your loyalties, your priorities, what you're willing to wait for, what you're not willing to wait for. 3s are lovely. They're a stable foundation. Like I'm recording this on an HG camera on a tripod, so it doesn't wibble wobble. 4-legged things can, 3-leggeds don't. The perfect distribution of weight. So think of that in terms of you sort of chewing on, what is it that I am willing to sacrifice for? What am I not willing to sacrifice as I go? Who am I willing to take along? Where do my loyalties lie? Now, a wonderful book from Ian Van Zandt, if you are familiar with her work. In the meantime, she says we are that what works is the divine first, God first, then us, then friends and family, then work. And that's true. Every morning I pray, right? And I brush my teeth, right? Do my hair, get my shit together, right? Check in with family, friends, whatever, if I can, if everybody's up, because I get up really early, and then I get to work. But really what we're encouraged to do is the exact opposite, right? Go to work, then take care of your friends and family, then you, and then now I lay me down to sleep. It's a little late in the day for that, right? So the hero perhaps in a place really going through an evaluation and an initial stabilization of where their loyalties lie, what you're willing to wait for, right? Waiting for your ships to come in, but you don't have to do that with everything. You get to choose. So very throat chakra, willpower, choices and decisions. Well, because in your career, this makes sense. You got the 5 of Cups, the storm, very heart chakra, but emotional change, and maybe even some upset, right? An emotional storm. They all pass, which of course would take you from the 5 of Cups to tumult, some cups standing, I guess floating, some tipped over, to bring you to the 6 of Cups, more of that emotional balance, right? The double the 3, you get a 6, and in this deck it's called compassion, but let's see if it shows up. So of course you'd be chewing on what's important to you in terms of your priorities, right? With the hero heroine, it's a path of personal power, but emotionally, in terms of your career, there could be some upset going on there, particularly in terms of how you're feeling about your potential for power, because not everybody manifests their potential in every single moment exactly as they want to. Particularly since the pandemic, you know, a lot of people, I was already working from home, so it wasn't that big of a shift to me. The isolation got more intense, but I was already sort of used to it. I've always been a bit of a freak, bit of a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I think I might belong here though, right? As an artist, as a mystic, not really supposed to fit in as a mystic. You're supposed to kind of be out on the fringe, seeing things differently. So I know that can, you know, as somebody trying to manifest their masculine energy power in their career, in their world, there can be a lot of storms along the way. But then again, the sky is so clear after a storm, and the ground, the soil has been enriched with the nutrient of water, so to speak, for more to grow in it. And then this makes sense in terms of your work in the world, your heart, third eye crown, with the visionary in the 8th is the 2 of flames, the 2 of wands, mahueha, definitely the juggling of fire. What do I want and why do I want it, right? It's like, well, I know what I want, but do I want to do it this way or do I want to do it this way? It's not really a decision card so much as it is a choice card, again, throat chakra. So interesting that you start with the 2 here in the physical part of this, your work, but to consider your choices and your decisions in terms of your loyalty, in your vocation, your life purpose, in terms of your spiritual calling, then I could understand how that could create a storm, an emotional 5 of Cups going on there, because there are probably some things, some of them cups might have to be spilled over. in order for you to really get clear. And this is all on the inside, right? Nobody might know about this stuff if you're not sharing it with anybody. But that's why we have the next 3 cards. The Mythic Tarot will get us the masculine energy, the lower 3 chakra dynamic, completing the chakra system here. The physical world, right? This very first level of power dominant. The masculine energy of relationships in the world. Root chakra is tribes, groups, circle of friends, like my family, right? Genetic family is tribal, but I'm also a member of the Bad Reputation Nation, or at least I was back in the 80s. That's another group. My political affiliation, right? The nation you're from, any association, including the human race, 3 or more, right? 3 or more of you gathered, and it's a tribe. Second chakra, one-on-one relationship to another person or thing, money, sex, power, and that certainly plays its role in work, career, vocation. The money part in particular. Solar plexus, your relationship to yourself in the world, right? Who you are in the world, your self-esteem, your self-image. But self-esteem as a noun, not a verb. It's something that you do. It's not something that you have. It's also your honor code, what you will, what you won't, what you do, what you don't, your boundaries, your ethics, all that jazz. Let's see what hits the table. 1, 2, 3. We'll read them 3, 2, 1. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. As I call upon my gods of earth, the sign of Capricorn, powers of the north, please. 3 cards in clarity for the Capricorn collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video and receiving this reading. What's going on? Inside out, outside in, right? Looking at them looking at themselves. Lower 3 chakra dynamic in their work, career, vocation. In their work, we've got the visionary. In the 8th, 2 of flames, a bit of a choice, maybe having some indecision about the choices, perhaps, on the inner very throat chakra. What's going on? Outside looking in, inside looking out. Same with the prince in their career. 5 of Cups, that's definitely emotional upset, but, you know, it can be just a bump in the road. It's only a minor arcana. You know, it's not the death card, it's not the devil, but there might be some emotional purging going on there, as well as the storm clears the airs, so to speak. So, Prince in the 8th, 5 of Cups on the inner. Let's see there what's on the outer. And we'll flip this one over. In their vocation, the hero. 3 of Wands in the hero. So a loyal hero, if that's their gig. Are they loyal to their calling? Oh, there's a driveway on the other side of the fence. I didn't realize, because there's a fence. I can't see it. So yeah, for my Capricorns, what's that lower 3 chakra dynamic? Outside in, inside out, lower 3 chakras is the King of Cups. Okay. So, look, this could be somebody you're dealing with. Cancer, the sign of Cancer dominant. The King of Cups, this is Orpheus. In the Mythic Tarot, wonderful, brilliant visionary and poet, but really bad with directions. Go read the Myth. Why couldn't you just follow directions? Men never do. But of course, the King of Cups is cardinal water, creative water, which does tap in, I would think, if this is you from the outside looking in at yourself, in terms of creating something emotional here. Hence, you know, my mom's a Cancerian, so I grew up with a Cancerian mom, so I know that what you see isn't necessarily always what you get. They can keep their emotions kind of bubbling on the inside. You don't necessarily know what's going on. They're very guarded, as they need to be. Think of a crab with, you know, the shells and the claws, but you crack them open, they're practically all edible on the inside. I do love a crab cake, can't help it. I just do. So this might be a more intuitive place. Now, if you are dealing with somebody with some Cancerian placements here, I know they're the mother of the zodiac, but we are looking at perhaps more of a deep poetic soul here, and if this is you, then we're looking at perhaps a very heart-centered hero in terms of your spiritual calling, a bit more intuitive, a bit more emotional, even if you don't have any planets in Cancerian or dealing with somebody who has any Cancerian dynamic. Fourth house dynamic, Cancer, is the home, but not the physical structure. It's the emotional part. It's the family. It's that warmth. And think of how much creativity goes on in a home. I don't necessarily mean just art, right? Creating family, like amniotic fluid, perfect example of cardinal creative water. Let's look at your second level of power. Like I said, we got the Prince for you in the 8th, which, you know, there's a hurricane a-coming. No, there's another card called Hurricane. There's a storm a-brewing. Watch out for 3-hour tours, baby. And on the outer, you've got the Devil. Now, we didn't have any major arcana cards hit so far, but we've got our first one here. When it is a major arcana card in this type of reading, it's all the chakras involved in that level of power. So it would make sense to me that a Prince might be dealing with some fears, some limitations. This could be an entire situation, as well as it could be you feeling like locked, like you're restricted, held things back there. The Devil card is always about limitations of fear and illusion, but along with that can come along the things associated with fears and illusions, like lies, illusions, deceptions, delusions, codependence, addictions, toxic behavior, all of that stuff that is fear-driven rather than love-driven. So perhaps your potential is being transformed, or I should say changed. 5s are numerological numbers of change, helping you to do the emotional work here, to take that potential for power and make it kinetic. Oh my God, I just went like 6th grade earth science on us. Right? Now this is Pan. To me, Pan is not a devil. Not in the Judeo-Christian sense. Certainly, this went down before all of that. Our lovely Greek gods, God of nature, a masculine face in nature, so not Mother Nature. Puck, right, if you want to go there. Robin Goodfellow, right, Pan. So there is something earthy here. And this is where perhaps, maybe there is something a little romantic here, if there is an entanglement in your career space, so to speak. Now, the difference between work and career, they can absolutely all blend together. For me, they sort of do. I am a mystic in my vocation. I am an artist teacher in my career, but I am a corporate president. I don't get paid for being a corporate president. That's all the organizational production stuff. Drawing the Circle Productions, S Corporation, right? I wish I had an LLC. They didn't exist when I started the company, right? So, you know, my creativity is really key, my second level of power, but if I don't keep it in alignment with my spirit because of what I do, it's not like I'm selling car parts, and if I did, it'd be a different schemata, but I would still hopefully try and serve with honesty and integrity, but you can see that there might, if there is some romantic sexual stuff going on in your career, I don't know that you can necessarily act on it right now, and as a result there might be some real emotions, a storm blowing through you, so to speak, but nonetheless there is great potential for power here. Don't give up on you, at least, and you gotta face it. You gotta look at, what is it I'm really afraid of? And I have noticed, particularly since I started working Course in Miracles 20 plus years ago, maybe even more, that you can't have a thought of fear without lack or loss, right? A lot of what we fear is about loss, and sometimes we don't see that immediately, but if we dissect it and feel it out and get to the core of what the fear is, particularly in terms of career, loss of money, loss of status, loss of creativity, loss of viability, right? That could be in there as well, and perhaps a loss of a potential, which happens every day, right? Everybody goes through that. So let's look at the work here. You've got the Visionary in the 8th, Mahueha, 2 flames, a choice on the inner, and Prometheus bound, the Hanged Man, lower 3 chakras on the outer. So you got 2 major arcana cards in a row, and honestly, if I had the choice between the two, I'd rather take the Hanged Man than the Devil. Because the Hanged Man is about a surrender or a sacrifice, which people don't like those words, but surrendering to a higher power. All right, Prometheus stole fire. He's a titan. So he was an elder to the Olympian gods. Stole fire and gave it to humanity so they would no longer be as dependent upon the gods for everything. In other words, they could forge tools. Right? They could cook their food without waiting for lightning to strike, thanks Zeus, right? But it is often a surrendering, not necessarily always to something external. It can be a surrendering to something higher or internal. I'm always drawn to Odin, the All-Father of the Norse. Plucked out his eye, hung himself upside down on the world tree Yggdrasil, the 9 worlds, all that, in order to receive the runes as well as other cash and prizes. Neil Gaiman has an audiobook on YouTube on Norse mythology that I highly recommend. I love him. I mean, Sandman's wonderful, but it's not like he just started with Sandman. Well, no, he's been writing a bunch of stuff for a while. Good Omens is my personal favorite of his. So there is a surrender going on here. It is usually temporary, but it can move at the speed of our willingness to say, all right, I know that I don't know. I'm willing to be shown. It's hitting the pause button. Maybe going inside to really look at what your choices are. Now, I know for myself as a visionary, I've been a visionary my whole life. You could call that a lifetime instead of just a reason and a season. I've always been able to conceive things that other people can't see until they do, and then they think they saw it first. Which, get used to it. It happens. Oh, what a wonderful idea I had. And you're just sitting there going, bitch, really? I told you that last year. All right, well, comes with the terrain. So there may be a throat chakra choice here with that 2 of flames on the inner, on whether to act on this or not, whether to tell anybody about this or not. Because it looks like the internals here are, there's a lot of chewing, a lot of, chewing on it. You're not spitting, you're not swallowing, you're chewing on something here in the throat chakra. While the heart chakra in your career is going through some change, it will pass, the storm will pass. But on the outside looking in, honestly, I would lead with the King of Cups in terms of communicating with other people. Just say, right now I'm considering lots of different things. I've said it before. I don't know. Things are in flux. The world has changed. When the pandemic started, I mean, like I said, I was already working from home. But I'll be honest with you, the first year, twin flame and soulmate contracts felt stupid. I mean, it changed, right? It's like you're not allowed to go near anybody. Why burn yourself like that with twin flame energy? Or try and manifest a soulmate when we're all just trying to survive, right? People are dropping like flies. So to be really honest emotionally, but not necessarily tell them everything going on inside of you while you are dealing with this. All right, like I said, we got 13 cards. That's 9. We'll get 10, 11, 12 here with the Matt Kahn Healing Mantra. We're not reading the bookie book on this because these readings are really long as they are. But we are going to look at the names of the chakra, 1, 2, 3 of the chakra, of the mantras. Got to admit, those words are similar. They're both Sanskrit. 1, 2, 3. But then when we'll read the mantras themselves, 3, 2, 1. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. You can hear the koi pond over there. It's so lovely. As I call upon the ascended masters of life purpose through the archetypal lenses of work, career, and vocation. Isn't it absolutely fabulous? Please, darling, sweeties, darling. 3 cards in clarity for the Capricorn collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. I'm not even going to look until they're all on the table. The perfect healing mantra to help them align the chakras, balance these 3 levels of power to help them fulfill their life purpose for this chapter of the book, this scene in the movie, this track on the album. Which is going to help everybody else on planet Earth. And if you want to see the survival of the planet, everybody keep fulfilling your life purpose little by little by little, and the planet will certainly keep turning as long as it serves. So in their work, they got the Visionary, 2 of Flames on the inner, Hanged Man on the outer. Going to try not to look at these because I'm not at my dining room table. There's the healing mantra for that. for their vocation. They've got the Prince in the 8th chakra, 5 of Cups on the inner, Pan, the Devil on the outer. What's their perfect healing mantra for that one? And for their vocation, they've got the hero heroine, which is definitely about a calling. Like, nobody takes to the hero's journey without hearing the call. The hero usually refuses the call, and then tragedy and destruction ensues, so they eventually are forced to take that call. In terms of their calling, with 3 of Wands on the inner, which might be that, well, do I wanna follow my calling? But with the King of Cups on the outer, if that is them from the outside looking in, there's some strong creative water, some intuition there, or there's somebody really there, almost like a maternal creative instinct there, like a mentor, like an Obi-Wan to Luke Skywalker relationship. So what's going on there? Outside looking in, inside looking out. Vocation, the mantra, help them heal. Okay. All right. So, what you got here? Befriending pain. So the hero heroine with loyalty on the inner, King of Cups, is befriending pain in your vocation. When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. And I think here you're really in the throat chakra, sort of chewing on getting your loyalties in priority. Now, the truth is, pain is most often a sign that you are transforming at a very rapid rate. Transformation is the element of fire. You can't unburn a cookie, right? You can turn ice into water and evaporate it into water vapor, and you can reverse the process. That's a state change. The kind of transformation we're talking here, it burns. It burns. Thank you, Coco Peru, wherever you are, right? Trick. So a hero heroine befriending pain, that is so heroic, not to martyr with it, but to say, all right, the pain that I am feeling here is moving me forward. It's like being in the crucible, not the play, not the Arthur Miller book, but a crucible transforms something. It's like refining metal. It holds the metal so it can be burnt, melted down. And doing the alchemy from shadow to light, fear to gold, lead to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy. So, you know, when discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. It's true. It transforms you on a cellular level. When my lower back really was horrible last November, that's what got me. I embraced it. I got that mantra over and over and over in my own private reads for myself. And I sat down one day, and it was more than one day, but I really allowed the pain. I talked to the pain, and it was a lack of support, lower back. Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life 101. And that's what really moved me to demonetize from YouTube, because I'm just not YouTube's cup of tea, but you notice I haven't given up on YouTube. It's a good way to put my work out there, but allowed me to find a different type of support on Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not supposed to be here for everybody. I'm here for anybody who wants, but I have never been here for the common denominator of planet Earth. It's always been those people that I can't help, and that's true of everybody. I mean, there are people who don't like chocolate chip cookies. I don't see how they can exist, but you know, you can't be everything to everybody 24/7, particularly for a hero heroine. So it would make sense that with the Prince in your career, right, Storm on the inner, Devil on the outer, that you get demystifying darkness, the shadow work card. My shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. So it's not about hiding in the light to avoid the shadow. You are the light that can bring your attention to your shadow, to your pain, to your exactly what we're talking about here, right? Using power for self-aggrandizement, puffing yourself up larger than life, which is not the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are is an immortal divine being that incarnates over and over and over again without political agenda or gender, right? Ageless, timeless, right? So the fears that find you, to really confront those fears because your shadow shows you where your love needs to be sent. So it's the shadow work card on the inside, and remember, nobody needs to know you're doing that. Maybe a therapist, maybe a counselor, maybe a spiritual guide or somebody like that in the physical form. You could say that stuff too. But a lot of this feels very much what's going on the inside of you, particularly. And great creativity comes out of shadow work, by the way. Absolutely. As you heal and transcend stuff, you are given gold, inspiration, often that can inspire others. So here we go in your work. Visionary in the 8th, 2 of Flames, a choice, very throat chakra. What are you going to say? What are you going to do? What are you going to do next? With the lower 3 chakra, dominant, Hanged Man, voluntarily suspending yourself, polishing the heart. Feeling is a power that helps me heal. This is taking a time out from the physical world, maybe a day off, maybe a week off, whatever. That hangman would indicate that, in order to polish the heart. Now, if you've ever polished silver, I have, right? Jewelry, silverware, a little polishing cloth, maybe a little dippity-doo along the way. Well, feeling is a power that helps me heal, and it's not something you just do once. Right, when you polish something, it is that process. So giving yourself the time and the space to heal this will absolutely, but it's your choice, right? It's totally your choice. What I get here for some of you, maybe not all of you, is that situations at work have become very stressful, at a standstill. Maybe the work has dried up, so you gotta kind of choose whether or not you want to feel those feelings, hence the demystifying of the darkness, which kind of moves things along. Heart, throat, third eye, crown, allowing the storm to pass so that you can get really, really clear about, do you want to be a hero or a villain? Understanding that there is some pain here, and when discomfort becomes a friend, your most limiting beliefs are healed as you evaporate the water of the emotional, probably from the physical into the emotional. It turns into air, and those beliefs are then released. So you could say, if you want to read it this way, in your vocation, when discomfort becomes a friend, your most limiting beliefs are healed. In your career, your shadow shows you where your love needs to be sent. In your work, feeling is a power to help you heal. But you can also say that in your work, you're polishing your heart. In your career, you're demystifying darkness. And in your vocation, which makes sense for a hero, you are befriending pain. Got one more card left, the last card down. The only bookie book read now for the Work-Career-Vocation reads. We've got the Whispers of Lord Ganesha from Angelo Hartfield. There's her name there, Angelo Hartfield. She also does the Whispers of Love, which I use for other readings, to help you remove some of these obstacles. I love this deck, and it is an honor to work with Lord Ganesh. I've always had a connection, but never integrated him into the work, career, and vocation aspect of my life. It's really all been about the more mystical stuff. So I get to tune to him doing this and ask him for the guidance and grace. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. As I call to the beloved Lord Ganesha, elephant-headed goddess of the Hindus, god of success and prosperity, and definitely great for work, career, vocation, fulfillment. Reading, please, one card in clarity, great remover of obstacles. Please help the Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. They work so hard. They're really good ones. I've never met a Capricorn I didn't love. Being a Virgo myself, there's that. Particularly the sun signs. Yeah, my first husband was, I think, a Capricorn moon, but he was a Pisces, so that was a crapshoot. So please, what's going on? Help them remove the obstacles. What is your guidance, your grace, your love, your wisdom, your power, your oracle message to help the Capricorn collective fulfill their life purpose in this work, career, vocation reading? It couldn't be more Capricorn. Steadfastness. Steadfastness. Oh, God, I love Capricorns. I know this Capricorn real estate broker who's very steadfast and strong. He's very Nordic. He's like 10 feet tall. I love him. He's going to be selling my house in Holbrook as soon as we wrap things, get things signed on this end. I won't say his name because that's not fair. But talk about steadfast. He's been in the industry forever. I love him. I love you if you're watching this read. I know sometimes he does watch the readings for Capricorn. Card number 32. This is lovely. So just stay steadfast, right? A steadfast hero, prince, visionary. Hell yeah. Do not waver back and forth or be moved by the circumstances that are surrounding you at this time. That's exactly what's on the fucking table here. Be focused on your purpose and unwilling to be swayed by what other people think or by what you perceive. Ganesha heartens you by revealing that when you know your effort is not futile, you will be steadfast and immovable. This seems to be a major stumbling block in your life at this time. Perhaps your current job gives you little recognition. Holy crap, it's talking about work-career-vocation at this time. Perhaps your current job gives you little recognition with no real sense of accomplishment or success. You may feel unheard in your relationships. Possibly the error lies in the fact that in your heart you really feel your struggle is hopeless. Demystifying the darkness, devil on the outer, 5 of Cups on the inner for the prince. Wow. You may recognize it on an intellectual level, but you are easily shaken when you do not see the fruit of your exertion. No, Capricorns hate that. They'll do the long haul. They'll put in the long hours. You start a project with an Aries, you finish it with a Capricorn. That's how I team build. Ganesha is pictured here riding the elephant, to engage you in the energy of the elephant spirit. Elephants can teach you that kindness, dedication, and communication in relationships is very powerful. They remind you that it is necessary to keep relationships alive, trusting and loving, whether the relationship is with friends, family, or partner. Deeply faithful to all creatures with which they have relationships, elephants are tough when protecting others and gentle when nurturing them. The matriarch, the oldest, most experienced female leader of a herd, leads in a way that is both gentle and inclusive. Elephants are able to communicate telepathically. I did not know that. I just thought they, trunked it out. When you draw this card, your ability to truly listen to others is enhanced. The big old everlasting ears can hear everything they say before they even say it. A supersonic. Do whatever is necessary to safeguard 90s flashback. Do whatever is necessary to safeguard your resolve. That's an 80s flashback. You are receiving guidance that this is time to dig in, remain focused, and don't get caught up in trying to create a change. The energy in your job or relationship is ever changing. Ask Ganesha to bring you the strength to work through what is happening. Stay committed and on track. Do not give up, as change will show up soon and the situation is transformed. I mean, that's what this reading is, particularly with the shadow work, demystifying darkness, the emotional work with polishing the heart, and befriending pain. This is a very Capricorn read. So, here's what's going to happen, as I always do. We're going to do what's called a blessimation. It's a combination of a blessing and a summation. It's a term that we came up with on my Patreon platform. I think it was Kimberly who came up with that one. A blessimation to put this all together. And then we'll chat a little bit at the end if you want to hang out as I release the collective. Usually by letting the goofy come out. Please take a nice deep breath. This is good. Still point. Here we go. As I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine, For the Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, may they be blessed with a passion for a journey of personal empowerment in their vocation, their spiritual calling, as they get in touch with their loyalty choices, their priorities, what they're willing to wait for and what they're not willing to wait for, as they engage either with their own or somebody else's cardinal water, Cancerian, the King of Cups there. Probably their own stuff, considering the amount of emotions going on in this reading. Perhaps putting a good face on everything on the outside, which is okay. The Cancerian claws and shells while they're doing the deeper interior work of befriending pain, because when discomfort becomes their friend, their most limiting beliefs are healed, particularly if it's about moving through something that they are afraid to do. Yeah, it's painful to do that. It can feel like you're being burned alive, but you're not. You're being transformed. Just like how you alchemize lead to gold. It takes fire, it takes heat, it takes pressure, and it takes time. So that in their career, they can embrace their romantic charm and potential for power while they're feeling what they're feeling and healing what they're healing as this storm blows through them, perhaps because of the limitations and the fears of themselves and others in the outside world as they demystify darkness, because their shadow shows them where their love needs to be sent. They don't have to run from it hiding in the light. They are the light. You don't bring light to your shadows. You bring your shadows into light. When you bring light to your shadows, you tend to make them more real through trying to understand them and where they come from and make them legitimate, where really they are illusions that dissolve as you bring them into the light of consciousness, so that can really, really clear up that storm so they can get their creativity moving again on the inside. Because chances are we're looking at real visionaries here in their work. They're seeing things that other people can't even see or conceive, and what to do about that, whether even to speak on it or act on it, can be really tricky. So right now they're chilling out, maybe perhaps sacrificing the action they would rather take. Maybe there is a sacrifice going on in their work environment, that they see what's going on there, and what they really need to do is polish their heart, because feeling is a power that helps them heal, but they don't need to do that in front of everybody else at all. This is totally something they can do as they remain steadfast, perhaps leading by example, but not making a big deal out of it, right? Being gentle about it, sticking to their course, taking the hero's journey step by step. No one needs to run through the hero's journey. They can certainly do this step by step, being strong, placing every Capricorn sea goat hoof, I guess is the right word, climbing up that mountain step by step, reaching their pinnacle, reaching their life fulfillment in their work, career, and vocation. And may they be blessed with all that they need to heal, to grow, to learn, to become the best that they can be, fulfilling their sacred contracts, fulfilling their role in the great plan, the great ineffable plan, so that we may all heal and love and be the best that we can be, and ultimately heal this world for the better, for the well-being of all, and with harm to none, as we will it. So let it be done. So would it be. And so it is. Because, I guess I could have done it there too. So it is. Did you like it? Like it. Hit the thumbs up, Caps. Help the other Capricorns find it. You want more of me here on YouTube, then by all means, hit the subscription button and the notification bell, because I am traveling and may be moving my home in the next couple of months. But if not, we'll do it next spring, and I'll be working from Holbrook. Life is very, who knows right now for everybody, from what I understand watching the news. And but if you want the deeper experience, you want to support me in my work, you want to come get the Magic, Miracles, Mysticism, and Mal, that is very exclusive content. Like, they got the video that I took of the house that I want to buy today, and no one else is ever going to see that but them. But then come play Patreon on Patreon, patreon.com/drawing in the circle. I love it there. Streaming every morning, pretty much, cup of coffee, bathrobe, talking about the astrology, and we always end with a prayer, blessing, meditation thingy at the end of it. It's just great, and it's really supported both my work, all three, my work, career, and my vocation, over the past almost year. November, it'll be a year at the time of this timeless recording. And certainly, if you would like to book me for a private reading, can't leave that hanging up in my mom's gazebo thingy. If you'd like to book me for a private reading, there's a link in the description box. Booking a reading with Mel explains it all for you, just like Clarissa. And it goes clients, Patreon, YouTube, well, Facebook, YouTube, because I got a Facebook group. I live in a private Facebook group there. But otherwise, really glad to be serving you all, my fellow Earth signs. Hang in there, reach out, get the help that you need. And there's nothing like a steadfast and strong hero, prince, visionary on the path. I'd probably date him. Otherwise, wishing you all the very, very best and the very, very blessed in your work, career, vocation. Hang in there. I love you. Now, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.